Good morning and welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. I really appreciate it. If you're new, please subscribe, and if you've been watching and you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Today's video is going to be about starting my business. As you can already tell from the title, I'm going to be sharing tips and tricks and stuff that just helped me, and pretty much what my journey was when I started my business. So a little backstory. I started my business when I was in my second year in school. So I was, I think, about maybe 17 then. And at the time, I had run several businesses. Actually, like when I got into school, I started selling makeup. So I would go to the market when I was at home, get some like little things. Then like makeup wasn't what it is now. So just stuff like eye pencils, lip gloss, stuff like that. So I was selling those, and I had been doing that for like a year. So like in every evening I would carry my bag of makeup and then go around like different rooms and be like, oh, I have makeup for sale, and actually made some money and all of that. Well, it really wasn't what I wanted to do. Like it really wasn't the passion of mine, because at the time I didn't even use makeup, like not even eye pencil or anything, like maybe just lip gloss. So I, of course, was still on the journey to searching for what I wanted to do, and at the time I wasn't planning to do fashion, even though in secondary school like I was obsessed with fashion. Like if you watch Kimora Lee Simmons' show, you would know that, I mean, like she made it look so glamorous, like the way she was into fashion. Her kids had their own fashion line. Like that was the goal, that was what like I really wanted to do. But of course by the time I entered university I had forgotten about that. But as luck will have it, I don't know, God just brought me back to it. So during one summer break, I think the summer break of my first year, I just saw one of these like malams, these like Hausa guys that sell fabric, and I just bought a few and made some skirts for myself and my sister. So I got back to school. People liked them. Where'd you get your skirts? I bought them. I bought the fabric and everything. The fabrics, thinking about it now, the fabrics were not so great, but I guess like it was different from what anybody would normally get. So people actually liked them. So, and then I was just talking to my very good friend then, and he was like, why don't you start this up as a business? I'm like, no, I don't really want to start a business now and all of that. But he was like, what, just think about it. And then like I realized that like as I was just going, I was just be looking at people's skirts. I'm like, this could have been done better, this fabric could have looked nicer on this and everything. And I realized, what, I think this is something I can actually do. Luckily for me, I had saved up 10,000 naira, which is I think about, let me see how many dollars that is. Oh, okay, now it might be a bit less because the exchange rate has gone up, but at the time, let me just use like 200, yeah. So which is about $50, and I had saved that up over the break. I think my uncle gave me for my birthday, and my mom had kept the money. Like, what, I'm going to keep this for you, and when you need it, like when you really need it, I will give it to you. And thank God for that. So I said, okay, what, I'm going to start this business. And I spoke to my mom about it. She took me to the market, we got fabric. My dad took me to some places. I got some, okay, no, not immediately though, but like I got some fabric, and then I started my business. And luckily for me, like my classmates had already seen my sketch, so they were like, what, I want this and all that. At the time it wasn't called Fiber Rose, it was called the Sketch Company, because that was all I did. And little by little, like the business started growing. People around school started like seeing my sketch. What I would do was I would make sure that I would wear like a really like badass skirt on Sunday. And then I was like in the technical crew department. So when we went to church, like of course I would be walking around trying to do my job, but then people would see my skirts and then they would be like, oh, I want that skirt you want on Sunday, I want that skirt you want on Sunday. Like I remember one particular skirt that I wore, it was like a black and white peplum skirt, and like people loved it. Everybody was like, what, that one, that exact one that you want on Sunday, that's the one I want. And that was how I was able to market my products. And at the time my costs were low, so like my skirts were cheap. Like then I think I was selling for like 2.5 before I now later increased them to 3.5. Well, at the time when I increased them to 3.5, I had actually stopped using the initial fabric I started with. So I started with like this, like it was actually like secondary school material and everything, but then I had found like crepe lycra fabric, not like the dry lycra, but like really good crepe fabric. and then I had these like black elastic bands. So they were very different, you understand, from what people were selling in school. And then even when people would buy them online, they'll probably be more expensive. So people really liked them and everything. And of course, that gave me a justification to increase my price. Yeah. Having said all of this, I feel like I feel like there are a few tips like I can point out in my story, like looking back on how I started, to just help somebody who is thinking of starting a business. Now, the first thing I would say is to start small. Like, I started with just 10,000 naira, which is about $50. I mean, that is really not a lot of money, especially now in these days when things are a little more, like not even a little more, a lot more expensive. But that was what I had then, and that was what I started with. Of course, I had like support from my parents, because not really financially at the beginning, but helping me get the best prices for things that I wanted to use. So even if you have just like 10,000 naira, you have just like 5,000 naira, I know that there are some businesses that you can start with just that amount of money, and you might not start big, you might not have like everything that you want in the beginning, but the most important thing is to have started. Once you've started, you've conquered the initial inertia, which is like a thing in physics where it says a body remains in a state of rest until an external force is exerted on it. And usually the force to start is not even the same force to keep it going. So you might need a little more strength to just like push the like get the ball rolling, but then to keep it rolling, it might not require as much strength. So that is why I would advise you start where you are, start with what you have. I mean, like, I started with 10,000 naira a few like years ago, and if anything, like I'm sitting down here, like two of these dresses is more than that, or like even having to set up the studio, it costs more than that. But it took just starting then. Like, I'm really glad that I didn't wait for the perfect time, because looking back, I don't think there would have really been any perfect time to start. And of course, I was a student, so I still got some help from my parents and still got some guidance from my parents, which really actually helped me. So that's the first thing I would say. And the second thing I would say is to understand the business model that works for you. Now, I would explain that because I was in school and I went to a very strict school that didn't just allow you leave school anyhow. It meant that I couldn't leave school all the time to see my tailor, and I couldn't leave school all the time to buy my fabric. So I came up with a system that kind of worked for me, or that worked for me. So what I did was, my mom and I will have like identical books. So say like I have this like fabric now, I would cut a piece of the fabric and then put it and pin it to the book. So I would have one and my mom would have one, and then I would label them. So this could be like A1, another fabric could be like A2, and I would label them probably according to color, according to pattern, according to the type of fabric. Now, whenever I got an order for this particular fabric, I would send a text message to my mom, or I would send an email to my mom with the measurements and the label of the fabric. So I would say A1 measurements, waist, hip and length, and then of course she would understand that this is the fabric I'm talking about, and she would help me take it to the tailor. And then when it was ready, when I got like a number of orders, she would find a way to help me get it to school. So this was what worked for me. It made life so much easier for me, because I could easily, get my stuff across and get my stuff back to me and get my stuff delivered, because I mean, it was within the school compound. So I just need to like maybe get one night. I know that okay, tonight I'm doing deliveries, and walk around and do all the deliveries that I have to do. So that wasn't too much of a hassle for me. So find the business model that works for you, especially if you're a student or you're working at a 9 to 5 and you can't give like your 100% attention to the business. You have to find something that works for you and something that would make things a little bit easier for you, because it's already difficult enough running a business, and then talk less of now combining it with other things. The third thing I'll say is to keep your costs as low as possible. Now, because I was in school, I didn't really have the resources to employ my own tailor then, or have a shop or things like that. So what really helped me was having a tailor that already had her shop, already had her machines and everything, and I would contract my work to her. So now then I was paying honestly like as low as 500 naira for a skirt, and that really helped me because I was able to keep my costs low. I mean, I was just starting a new business. People really weren't used to that kind of business in school, so I needed to keep my costs as low as possible. And then I didn't have to manage like lights, NEPA bill, generator or anything. I didn't have to manage any of those things. I didn't have to think about servicing my machines. I didn't have to think of that, and that really helped me because I was just starting out. And then I would be able to, manage my schoolwork with that. Because imagine if I had to be managing a tailor or had to be managing somebody at the time, it would have been too much for me to handle. But just having that really drastically reduced my cost, because now that I have my full-time tailor, like I know how much of a hassle it is. I have to dedicate time to him to make sure that everything is okay with him. I have to provide everything that he uses. I have to provide lights. I have to provide like pretty much everything, and it is not only like cost intensive, it is also time intensive. So being able to keep your costs low as per money and time will really help you when you're just starting a new business, and it could also give you a competitive advantage over people who are already in the industry. For instance, like someone who is paying maybe like 500 or 1000 to a tailor might not incur as much cost as me, who is now managing my tailor, managing my shop, managing every other thing together. So keep your costs as low as possible, and especially if you're a student and you don't even have so much money. Because at the time, like I had only 10,000 naira. 10,000 naira would not buy a machine, buy fabric, buy lining, buy thread, and pay a salary. So it really helped me to keep my costs as low as possible. So the next tip I will give is to look for new ways to improve your product. Now, like, this would help you in the long run because it justifies maybe your price increase. It justifies, just looking for new ways to approach your business. Now, when I started my business, I started with like the cheaper fabrics, just stuff I could get. They were still gorgeous, they were still pretty, but then obviously not the same quality as what I started. In fact, I don't even use them now at all. But at the time, that was what was affordable, and that was what I could get. So I went to a different part of the fabric market, looked for new kinds of fabric. It was actually my dad that took me around, showed me, new places, showed me, okay, we went to different stores, checked out new and different kinds of fabrics. Like I still go to those places till today. Like that's how good the quality of the fabrics that I got then were. So look for new, and then at the time when I started using these fabrics, of course I had to increase my price. I think I went from like 2,500 naira to about 3,500 naira. And I remember one like girl particularly, she was like, Anna, why did you increase your price and everything? Her sketch were okay, so what did you change? But by the time she saw the fabric, she was like, wow, I think this is so good. Like this looks really good. And sometimes your customers might not really know that, oh, okay, there's something better out there, but you as the professional, or you that knows what you're doing, you know that it could get better. So don't hesitate to look for new ways to improve your product. And by the time you improve your product and they see the obvious difference, they will be willing to pay the difference in price, meaning that you get to make more profits, you get to build your brand, and get a good name for your brand. Because if they know that you're dedicated to change, you're dedicated to finding new ways to make them more satisfied, they will be more inclined to buy from you, and they'll be more inclined to stay with you. And that rolls off to the next point, which is to grow with your target audience. Now, I was a student at the time when I started my business, so of course there were things that I would wear then that even I would not wear now. But imagine if I was like, this is what I started with, I am going to stick to this. It necessarily wouldn't have worked for me, and in fact it wouldn't have worked for me, because the things I did then, I don't even do like most of them now. Like in fact, I don't do them now because I hardly do just skirts for people. Like it takes like a custom order for me to just do skirts. I don't even really have like skirts as part of my ready to wear collection. So you have to learn how to grow with your audience. You have to look at what they want, especially if you're starting your business young and you're starting your business just as a trial. So you have to be willing to change, you have to be flexible, you have to know that, okay, if this isn't working, then I should probably try something new. And one big thing, like one big way in which I learned this lesson was I think sometime last year I started selling at my church. So I have like a pop-up store that I go to every Sunday and I display my products. And when I came here, I had like off-shoulder tops, lace dresses, just like simple things that students and maybe young people would like. Even like some of the things like at my age now, I probably won't wear them. now. But that was what I had. That was what I was like, you know what, these things are going to move because they are trendy and everything. But I realized that I wasn't selling as much, and then I decided to try like a more mature range of ready to wear. So I did like really nice Ankara dresses and all of that, and I realized that those moved more than the things I had before. So you have to learn how to, you know, gauge what your audience wants. You don't necessarily have to move with all the trends, but kind of identify trends that have lasted and trends that are, you know, like everlasting, like stuff that a young person might see and, you know, would like it, a stuff that an older person might see and would like it, just stuff that would improve the quality of your brand and improve the image of your brand, because what you have, like your products, are the image of your brand. And so I don't know if this will really pertain to all like industries, but I guess it will. Like for instance, maybe photography, there was a way you used to edit before, and then you have to like evolve. Okay, this is how people edit now, this is how people like their things. Or you know what, if you're into event planning or decoration, this is how people used to do these things before, but now this is how people like their things. Of course, it might be more expensive to move with the trend, but in some industries, in some businesses, that's what we pay, because people want what is real. Especially if you're probably like in the wedding industry, where nobody wants their wedding to look like their mother's wedding. Like everybody wants what is, you know, in vogue now. So the last thing I would say then is to prioritize. Now, because I was a student, I needed to prioritize, meaning that on days when maybe I had classes or I had exams, my studies were the priority. But on days when I was a bit freer, I could go around and, you know, market or do things, you know, just do things to like push my business forward or do deliveries. And because like I was in a school where you can't just leave school and come home anytime, you have to take permission, and you probably can only go home like, I think you have like 3 weekend exits in a whole semester. So I had to like prioritize, meaning that I couldn't just waste my going home. Like I probably go home when I need new fabric, I probably go home when I really need to see my tailor, stuff like that. So you have to prioritize. And even now, as someone who works at a 9 to 5, I have to prioritize. There are times when I know that my business is priority, especially during weekends. I try to do everything that I need to do during the weekend, even though that might be stressful, but it means that I can focus on my work during the week, and I pattern my, you know, work in a way that I'll pattern my business in a way that it doesn't really affect my work. So that is very key, because at the end of the day, when you try to do it all at once, you start feeling overwhelmed and you start feeling tired, and you can't necessarily put your best foot forward. You can't necessarily be the best, you know, you can be on both sides. So I'm kind of in my studio, so there are cars driving by. I'm trying to wait for the car to go so that it doesn't affect my audio. Okay, so yeah, you have to prioritize so that your one part of your life is not suffering. There are days when, of course, you can give like utmost attention to your business and then do that, and there are days when you have to give utmost attention to your studies or to your work, and you need to do that. So I think those would be, I think, my 5 or 6. I don't know why I lose count of these things. I guess some things just comes to my head as I'm talking, so I just try and chip that in. But those would be my lessons that I have learned from, you know, looking back at where I started from. And I'm going to be sharing more lessons on this. Actually, I'm going to be making more videos on how I transitioned my business from being a student to being a, I don't know, not student, I don't know, and then things that you would need, you know, to kind of get started or get your business on its feet in Nigeria, because there are some things that, there are some, you know, documents, or there are some, I don't know, just stuff like that that you would need, and just information that you need to keep in mind, just to be able to, just to make things easier for you to run your business in Nigeria. So if you have any other things that you want me to share as per this series, please leave a comment down below, send me a message. I'm also going to leave my contact details on my social media. Please follow me on social media. I am at anti-hotstuff on Twitter and Instagram, so that will be anti_hotstuff. I will leave that on the screen. And my business page is fiber_rose. I will leave that on the screen as well. And please subscribe to my channel, please like this video and share, and I'm looking forward to making my next video. So have a nice day, and bye.